I'm still here on the project, building capacity around my mouth, but I got something to back it up. What do you think? Let's discuss it. This is Samson Toll, LIBERIA Public Radio. It's Friday, so why not? But I want to bring your attention to a show that I'm going to be having tonight. It's going to be very interesting. I'm encouraging all of you, those of you that are listening to this video, to tune in tonight, because perhaps this might be some of the reason why we have all of the mess that is going on in our own country, because you have to listen to these things. The trouble we've been having in Liberia didn't start overnight. These are things that's been happening from time to time. There are those who came before us, past generation, failed to recognize these things, and will continue to repeat them, because we ourselves have not yet able to recognize and see if these things can be rectified, so that this country, beautiful country of ours, can be built just by our hands as Liberian. Doesn't matter who you are at this point. Concord country, it doesn't even exist anymore. We're all one another. We're all one country, one people. But if we do not understand why these things are happening to us, we're most likely not going to be able to find solution. So I ask you tonight to join me.
Yet, how does one begin to help people who swim on their own flooded streets to voting booths to vote incompetent criminals back into office?
Yes, that is a big question we all have to answer. How do you help people who will go to the voting booth swimming in their own flooded streets just to vote people in offices who are incompetent? And those incompetent people that are being voted in offices will also appoint people who are also incompetent. So this is like a big deal. How do we help our brothers and sisters to make sure that their voting rights are utilized effectively? They have the voting cards. They must be told how important their voting cards are to all of us. And so I'm saying, those of us that have this platform, this is not time for hate. You don't come into this because you hate. You must do all you can to educate the voters themselves, how important their voting cards are. Because if their vote our leaders will be able to do what is right for our people. Join me this evening as I try to explore this particular question and many more that will be coming. Join me this evening at 8 Eastern Time, 5 Pacific, where we will take on this question and be able to see how much we can go. With your help, we, the Liberian people, will be able to educate our brothers and sisters that have the right to vote whoever they want, but they must do so with responsibility. This is Samson Toll, Liberian Public Radio. Thank you very much.
C'est au-dessus de moi, encore une autre fidèle qui l'Amérique n'a pas loupé. Quand il y a Sylvie, il y a quoi qui j'ai loupé presse. L'Amérique n'a pas loupé. T'as mon bien de moi avec moi, nous deux. En ce moment, on va battre au moins, néo. Mon temps d'hier, t'as mon mouillé. On s'est abattu pour moi, il pleure. Avec la locale, yo.
Doing anything that people get to amend it. And with me from 2005 to date, we're all doing anything. I've done something. Trust me. I'll be re-elected. You understand? So you don't need to fight. You don't need to destroy your country. You don't need to even condemn your country. You have to be inspired, peacefully, and then convince the people, persuade people. Politics is about persuasion. And it's about what you have done for your people. I have done so much that I don't need pay for. You know why I don't need pay for? Because Liberians love me and they promoted me when I was on a soccer page. You understand? And they were proud to be Liberian when I was on a soccer page. And I've done my best for my country. I'm a former peace ambassador. It doesn't matter what people say. I'm on record.
Yao, abela lokeyo, mi vito jogbai, mi vito inoba, artiste mo feyo. Manager Gigi, ouais peut jamais forcer ou, si tu connais tu connais. L'animateur Choco Noscan Yassin de Toyebli, l'homme a tout fait pour mi vito, Aniche le vieux.
Henry, I can tell you the problem of this country with respect to prices, with respect to health, with respect to education, and largely tied to roads. There are no roads. You don't see opportunities where they should be when you don't have roads. From up to 173 years, we only have one road. How do you know what is happening in Bapolu when you don't have roads? You don't go there. The prices of goods, commodities on the market are high because to get them to where they are needed. So there's no way you can, when I talk about road, I'm not talking about putting road on the sidewalk in Monrovia, $50,000 road and make it $3 million. We're talking about roads that will open up the country. We're talking about roads that will open up opportunities, roads that will get businesses going, and dependency reduced because people believe their goods and commodities can get to the market. That's what we're talking about.
But we will prosecute and will confiscate assets that people steal and acquire by illicit means. I often say that in Liberia, when people get caught, they send their wife, they send their children, they send their relatives, whatever, to come and beg. I'm saying the Liberian people, don't come and beg. You know, don't come and tell me, oh, stand to help you get elected. He talked nice about you on the radio station. Now he's stealing, so forgive him. Stanley should have known when he was stealing that we're going to punish him. So there's going to be consequences. That's the first thing. Then we have to make sure we're paying people a living wage. So we did the arithmetic, we did the math in 2017 that when you look at policeman's salary or healthcare worker's salary or teacher's salary, by the middle of the month, the money finished. By the time they pay rent, they buy food, they pay the children tuition, and of course, they're not going to starve, right? So the policeman will pull you over, the teacher will accept bribe, they change grades.
Who owns Papa's land? We want to know who owns the land. Who owns Papa's land? We want to know, Papa's land, Papa's land. We want to know who owns the land. Who owns Papa's land? We want to know, Papa's land, Papa's land. We want to know who owns the land. Who owns Papa's land? We want to know, Papa's land, Papa's land. We want to know who owns the land. Who owns Papa's land? We want to know, Papa's land, Papa's land. We want to know who owns the land. We want to know, we want to know. Yes, we want to know who owns the land. I said we want to know, we want to know. Africa wants to know who owns the land. Africa is my father's land. Yes, Africa is my own father's land. Will you let my people go?
Good evening, folks. Samson told LIBERIA Public Radio. We're on it again this evening. We want to thank all of you that are tuning in. We say thank you. Let's have fun together. Again, we're on it. Thank you. Safety. Lord Jesus, we want to thank you again this evening for bringing us here again, Lord, my Lord. We thank you for your blessing. We thank you for your protection. We thank you for everything that you do for us, that you have done, and you continue to do. Thank you. Only you that have the ability to let people go on. Thank you for your protection. My Lord, we ask you this evening, as we're about ready to open our mouths again, Lord, we ask you to guide what comes out of our mouth. We ask you, my Lord, to give us wisdom. We ask you to bless the country, the Republic of Liberia. Bless the leaders of the Republic of Liberia to do what is good for our people. We ask you to bless the host country, the United States of America. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. And I think God answered my prayer. Oh yeah, Tucker Carlson got fired today. God there. We the liberal, we say God. Oh yeah, the next person. Now how many we go? God there, Mr. Alfonso So and Mr. Emon Joyce. You better calm down with your conservative idea. The people are firing conservative all over the place, yo. And you don't tell me, you don't tell me, Mr. Alfonso So and Mr. Emon Joyce, that your conservative idea, you're listening to Tucker Carlson. He's gone. LPR is no exception. You don't put yourself together. You continue to expose your conservative idea. There's something happening with the fire. Your man, Don't worry about it. But anyway, folks, Samson to LIBERIA Public Radio. I want to thank all of you again this evening. We said, please share this video, And straight out tonight, I'm not going to even talk about roles. I'm going straight into this politics of Liberia. This is what's happening, folks. You see the man? You see the man? Ambassador, U.S. ambassador to Liberia. They may call every one of us our bluff today. He did. He did. He said, all of y'all that are making it big more, the Samson told, the whoever, hey, the government, this government, look what's happening. Look what's happening. Y'all say your representative are doing this. Look what's happening. And I will read that letter, that statement this evening. It is unbelievable. He caught us off completely. All of us. It's not just the government. Because this is our country, my people. This is the Republic of Liberia. And he said, this whole problem here is not just one government. It's not just one political party. And he called up, without calling their name, the opposition. You want the ambassador to run your campaign for you too. This is ridiculous at its most. Oh, my people, yeah. Mr. Ambassador, I don't know. I'm embarrassed to even say thank you. I'm ashamed to say thank you. I'm ashamed to say thank you. The people pass the budget. We don't even critique the budget. We don't even follow the budget. We just say, oh, the people pass the budget. Then we let CDC and the crooks go around bragging how much Samuel told how much he has increased the budget. He has increased the budget by a certain amount. And we accept it. We accept it as Liberian. Believing and trusting these people. My goodness. Let me throw another image out there. And this one. I got it from one progressive Facebook page, by the way. Krache is name. Okay. Why? Let me play the music again.
We want to rule from Cape to Cairo. Will you let my people go? We want to rule from.
This music was playing back in 1980 when the coup happened. We were all in the street. Now we were crying for one man, one vote. We got it now. Look what's happening to us. This is even worse. And the guy made a point here, and I will read it. He made a point, clearly made a point. That Monrovia, the taxes coming from the interior is just one way street, and not going back. Same thing that happened in 1980, my people. Same people die for these kinds of stuff for our people to get good lives. And nothing happening. Nothing happening. Nothing. It is unbelievable and not acceptable. Unacceptable. Because why? You have people that this is unacceptable. You have the likes of Wilson Tappe. Wilson, and I'm calling his name here because he used to be my academic professor, teacher at GW Gayson School at night. I was little, but I was going to night school. And this man, when he comes to class, he put an economic issue at one side, and he will lecture us how two-way party were taking taxes from the interior and not bringing it back to the interior for the people to benefit. Wilson Tappe, he's not president, he's not part of this government. I got to be careful. I already prayed to God. God will guide my tongue this afternoon. I'm not going to say anything that I'm not supposed to say. But my people, you think about it. I say Wilson Tappe used to be my economic professor at GW Gissing. I don't want to call it here. But he wasn't alone. The only person that will come to class and teach us literature, Samson Carter. He will not mix that with politics. He will come to class and teach us how to read. He teaches us literature. He teaches us about Socrates and all kinds of good people, the philosophy of writing and whatever. But he taught us. But the rest of them will come and put their business, their teaching business aside, and we became militant. It was because of people like Wilson Tappe that I got myself involved with PAD. I become like a foot soldier, even though I don't know nothing about just they're making a noise, just like these days young people. They say they're South and I just know we all were the South people, but our own were a little bit different. But these people, and now the people, Wilson Tappe, he's among this government. And the people say they passed the budget. But according to the ambassador, they passed the budget, but the service centers don't get money, even though it's in a budget. The medical facility, the hospital, don't get nothing, even though it's in a budget. And they said they increased the budget by 37.5%. Where is the money? Who's the money going to? This is unbelievable. But then again, I blame us, all of us. In fact, I put my hand on, I say I blame myself too. Because one minute I will come here and run my mouth, how important the opposition will be, and how important the next leader will be. And sometimes I come and run my mouth, how important the president has been, how great this president has been. I've been lying to myself. I say I lied to the Liberian people. What kind of business is this? What kind of business is this? We got exposed, all of us. We got exposed. The one Nigerian man said to open your I don't want to say it. We got exposed. The intellectual, my goodness, then people go intellectual. But what intellectual? What we know? We say we know something in here. Kolo, our open the day. The people taking the money. We can't say nothing. We can't say nothing. Everybody want to be represented. Why do these people want to be represented? For the money. If these people are making $400 or more, you think all the people are going to run? Nobody will run. That's just better than us will try to say we want to run. Well, look how much money they're making. They like installation according to the ambassador, $65 million. And I'll read it. This, my people, we got exposed. Many of us who have the platform, we must as well just throw our heart into CDC, let them put some money in there like they do with other platform hostess and things like that. We must as well just throw our hands out there and beg CDC to pay us too. Because this is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Up in the country, no roads, none whatsoever in other areas. And the ambassador broke it down. The ambassador, yeah, I know he used to be in Liberia, that I know, but I think that some of the DNA come from Liberia. The ambassador, some of the DNA come, the man play with us. All of us, he didn't play with us at all. He did, that I said, he gave us one dirty slap. All of us, one dirty slap he gave us today. One dirty slap he gave to Liberians. Then we sit there and say, we know something, we know book, we know that we know nothing. We know nothing. When people like Yeke Kaluba, yeah, he can be causing a thing like that. But you holding this, there's something going on here. Oh, Yeke Kaluba crazy, man. Oh, Yeke Kaluba is this, man. Yeke Kaluba, we don't listen to Yeke Kaluba been telling you all over and over. My people, something going on here. You remember Yeke Kaluba brought out new money? He said, we said you ain't got money. But look at, they pay us brand new money. Y'all remember that video? Well, you got called Baba, you always let her do the country, man, the man crazy. Them to make it worse, the few days, he's selling, holding Bafo over here, selling thing. But the young man been telling us over and over, open your eyes, Liberia. We refuse. We refuse. We refuse. And then the ambassador came today. He said, I bet all over the country, the suffering of our people are suffering. Why? President, we are. I'm beginning. The one up, and then to make it worse. To make it worse. While the ambassador was talking, President Weah was in Buchanan, and the R7, the praise singer, is showing cola and chicken, white cola. For what? Then when the men leave, they don't got nothing. You don't even get toilet to poo eat. What kind of business is this? Who are we? Who are we, my people? Who are we? Who are we as Liberians? Yeah, I've never seen people so confused. From my perspective, we're so confused. We're unbelievable. We come on this side. Let me show you some of the confusion that happened to us now. We come on this side, rub our head. Oh, I'm going to America. Oh, I'm going to America. Yeah, you get here. They play a part. I will work. I will do double. I will do this. I will get money. You come here. You put your school to school, working with children, going to school, doing children homework. The mind we got, the brilliant mind we have. Unbelievable. The kind of thing our brothers and sisters from Liberia go through here to put themselves in school. And the American people, they will be crazy all the time in the street, holding their hair. How you will get children, then you go to school, you study. Then your wife also study. But you got children. Then you got to find food for the children. You're working, some people get 2 jobs each, but they're going to school. That's smart. But when we finish, yeah. Then when the confusion starting, we've called ourselves somebody that knows small thing. You start working. You're working in a poor place. Now, 1 cent, they put $1 million down. You still there, you go, look what, and I'm not bringing it as being a ridicule or anything like that. But look at our brother, Samson. Look at the kind of mess he in. Who among us now will try that again? The fear in us. The fear of not so much of stealing and going to jail as an individual, it's not the issue. But the fear of disgracing your family that in us, that's what holding people down. You can't steal. Because when you steal, that don't let you alone. You go to jail, your family knee all in the mud. And some of us that respect our family, we don't want to go there. We don't want to go there. But here's the disgrace. No, here's the shameful part on our partner. And the ambassador disgraced us today. He put one dirty slap in our ear. I don't say slap, I said one dirty slap in our ears today to wake us up. It has nothing to do with the campaign coming. Please, I'm not even going to say it. Next government come up, they will do the same thing. They will do the same thing. So don't even fool around with me with the campaign business. I'm saying something about us. Okay, what makes you think now with that kind of dirty slap they may give us this afternoon? That I have something to leave from here and go down there. That myself will not be involved in the corruption business. They want to sit down there. We all are fault. But here's the shameful part now, the confusion part on that happening with us. You're finishing now. You're working. You put money down and get you the money. Say take it to the bank. You will take it to the bank to the last penny. Penny. You will not take it. You will not take it. You will not steal it. Nothing. You will take the people money and put it back. When they give you a job to do and they say, I want it 12 o'clock, by 11:45, you're done. When you go to work, they tell you, say you start 7, you are 3. By 6:45, you're there waiting to open the door so you can go in. You don't leave that place until 3:10. But when you get to Liberia, the people say come to work 8 o'clock, like come to work 12. You're supposed to do some stuff. You just with me, those girls over there, are they your personal property? For what reason? Because they make you X, Y, and Z? You're abusing people's children? You go to work. You don't even go to work. You're there all over, running all over the place. And you call yourself big shot. You're riding a car. You're right. You will be the deadest slap the man gave us. That's not the end. Then when you finish, by 4 o'clock, you're in the car. One. People can't hear in Monrovia. Yeah, now. The ambassador say your past budget. And people who supposed to get money, they don't get it. You can call about Ben saying anything. My people, like brown people, you open your eye. Oh, you can call about you to be a fighter, man. The man by rule. You can call about rule. You can call about rule every day. That's all we say. The man no bow. The man say you open your eyes. The corruption that going on in this country, it pass mark. We say you can call about you know anything. Dallas Dillon, on the other hand, try to say with finesse and intellectually and what have you stand there and make a case and he made one mistake one time, we wrap it all around him. And people, that the country we have. So what make your thing say that we enjoy ourselves? Yeah. Let me see if I can read the ambassador stuff. Yeah. Liberia. Amen. They think not easy. Amen. That kind of thing my daughter can say, amen. She didn't even know how to speak the English, but because the man can be saying amen all the time. Amen. We're wrong now. That a big Liberian English, you know. But that's besides the point. Folks, on a very serious note, quite recently, was it not in the news? Phoebe Hospital, was it not in the news? Look at Tabitha Hospital, the beautiful, beautiful hospital, where the roads will take patient from point A, point B. Nothing. We allow Samuel 12 to come and lie to us here one time. That is, they have surplus. The government has surplus. These are a true story. Nothing. Alfonso Gay, the one they just made, what do you call water and sewer director, he came up and said Samuel 12 was lying. I have the video here. Anybody challenge me, I'll play it. He said there's no surplus. Why would you do that to our people? For what? What exactly? Is that some sort of a rush? Some sort of a addiction? That when we leave from here, we must steal anyhow? It's unbelievable. So let me see if I can read the ambassador stuff here. Folks, it's sad. Go on lr.usembassy.gov. You will see it there. Okay. Let me put it in here because I don't want to just read people thing here like that. Let me put it in here. This is I don't know. I sat down here all day. Hey, the road, when the road go that way, then the car, I think I'm fooling myself. Because sooner or later, the donor's going to realize that the purpose for their donation are not being utilized effectively. I was just about the show I was going to do this afternoon until I got into this. There's a company, a German-based construction company that are trying new method in Liberia construction-wise. They're in Grand Bassa County. They're going to go between Riverside and Grand Bassa. And I read through all of their stuff, and I'm going to try to come in today to explain that, the process. But when I saw this, and I too have seen, have heard, have seen the kickback business in our country. The kickback business in our country. I don't know what exactly they're doing, but then you will say, okay, these people are not getting paid. You can say, well, because they're not getting paid enough. But that's not the case. That's not the case. They're taking money, perhaps to better up their future, sniping, taking money from our children's mouth and putting it in their pocket. Why are we so wicked to one another? The Civil War came, we demonstrated the higher degree of wickedness in our country. And when I was there, people that I saw, the Liberians that I used to hang with, I grew up in Baka, Bapa. I grew up in Yekepa. I grew up in Grassfield. Okay. I grew up in Zvedru. I grew up in Monrovia. Okay. Those days, I keep telling you guys here, the kind of heart we had. I don't know what happened to us during the war. Because those days, if you call yourself man, and boy, I say boy, I say boy, I say boy, you know what I mean? Boy, yeah, boy, and you go and eat that man boy, and you pay the 15 cents or whatever it costs. And you say, hey, what you do to me? Because you got muscle, we call them Omo those days. Another Omo will come that is bigger than you. It costs two of them, they will come. They will say, pay the picking before you leave. They don't know the ball. But that's what's in Liberia that I know. You can't take advantage of anybody. But now, just the naked driving experience in Monrovia. Not only are they taking advantage of people, but they think we're all stupid. Everybody that driving are stupid. Where in the world that you're driving and your side mirror gonna be hit by a motorbike and they crack it and oh sorry. And you have to fix it yourself. And these people, my understanding that most of the lawmakers, they have keke and motorbike people in the street. Another story that I heard, I'm not too sure how this story is, but that the police director designated specific streets in Monrovia where the motorbike will be. The motorbike boys then you joined together and went to McGill. They said McGill changed that. That's my story. I don't know how true that is. But I'll pull it out there anyway. Because if you see these motorboy boys or motorboy business people in Monrovia, they ride on the sidewalk where pedestrians, we have no respect for each other. Look at the way we talk to each other. Look at the way we talk about each other. Even in the church, these churches, what exactly are they preaching about? Revenge? God will revenge for you. Instead of asking God to redeem that person so that the person will stop their behavior, they say God will revenge. They have enemy everywhere in the church. As soon as they fought in the church, everyone in our church, they're good. Everybody else outside, they are the enemies. And that mindset goes on to higher decision-making body. Because right now, if I leave from here, and if I have the opportunity, and say I'm talking to Dr. Weir, and I tell you all the people that are enemy, he will understand that instantly. Because this is what enemy looks like from the church perspective. I have not heard any kinds of redemption preaching anymore. Every preaching, God got your back. The people, the wicked people, they will do this and do that. And some of them are so good now. Your enemy putting you in a casket. They go. And these are the kinds of stuff we have. People believing they have enemies. So if these people are my enemy, why would I want to help them out? If I already consider these people as my enemy, why would I want to help them out? I would do everything possible that they stay down. Hey, some people, we're going to be in a team for a long time. Until we recognize all of these things are causing our problem, we will be in it for a long time. Seriously. 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 It's unbelievable. Why do we behave like that? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm still looking for you. I'm still looking for you. Just give me money. But no, I sometimes, yeah, you can get angry. But what anger gonna do for you? Nothing. 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 People building houses. People building houses on government right away. And these right away are meant for you to be able to, for the contract, for the government to utilize that to drain the area. That's what most of the right of ways are meant for. To widen it later on, widen the street. But look at Monrovia. People can build anywhere they want, even on people's property. And nothing. They build zing round, that's it. Nothing. You go tell them to move the thing, say you're a wicked person. Why do we do these things to ourselves? At what time will we be able to move up? 1980, we said the people were our problem. The people been here since 1847. They haven't done anything. They said they're our problem. Since 1980 up to this time, it seems like we're going backward. We're literally running backward. We're not even walking. We're running backward. We're running backward. We're running backward, my people. We're running backward. I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know why. So the issue for me is, if our people are accepting these kinds of behavior, then what? They're most likely not going to allow people who will want to clean the house. They're not going to allow you. They're not going to allow you. So as far as I'm concerned, Councillor Gonglo, you're wasting your time. Liberians are not ready. Liberians are not ready. They would rather have someone who will fool them, say things that they're not able to do. Oh, I will do that for you. Oh, I will do that for you. Then when they get elected, they don't even come to the area anymore. Those are the kind of people Liberian people want. Those are the kind of people they like. And so those of you who are sincere to make things right, they're not ready for you. And I'm being ridiculous? Yes, so be it. So be it. Why is it? Why is it? What reason? Give me a moment. And in the meantime, let me play this music again.
Will you free my people's hands? We want to rule our Papa's land. I say, will you free my brother's hands? We want to rule our Papa's land. Who owns Papa's land? We want to know. Papa's land, Papa's land. We want to know. Who owns Papa's land? Papa's land, Papa's land. We want to know what's land. Who owns Papa's Papa's land. We want to know, want to know. Papa's land, Papa's land. We want to know, want to know. Who owns Papa's land? We want to know, want to know. Papa's land, Papa's land. We want to know, want to know. Now listen carefully. All right, sisters, as you listen. We want to know. Chinese are ruling in China land. Yes, Chinese are ruling in China land. Japanese are ruling in their Japan. Japanese are ruling in their Japan.
Again, folks, Samson told LIBERIA Public Radio. It's a very sad day for us today. I think the ambassador gave us one dirty slap, and I'm trying to redeem myself. I'm not too sure if I'm doing a good job here, but I think I'm trying my best. But then the question is, what happened to those that don't have platform? How do they redeem themselves? We have to be sincere with each other. We have to be. We have people who would think this government is doing everything that is right. We have people who believe the past government did all the good thing in 12 years. We even have people who believe Two-Way Party was the best thing ever happened to Liberia. Who are we? Let me go on to read this. Let me read this. And I'll read it the total way. So if you don't hear my English, that's too bad. I don't know how to read, but let me try my best. So let me read this. This is a press statement by U.S. Ambassador to Liberia, Michael A. McCarthy. He said, in the past 3 weeks, I have visited Bomi, Wapolu, and 4 counties in the southeast. And I have now been to every county in Liberia. Okay. So every county in Liberia. This fulfills my promise to the U.S. Congress to be an ambassador to all Liberia, not just Monrovia. The same song I can be singing here. Monrovia is not Liberia. The man saying they here. I am happy to report that each capital city has its own unique bundle of trade and culture ties, and that Liberians throughout the country share a warm, welcoming spirit. He said, you go to Lofa County, the people there, they welcome you just like the people in Grand Gide. You go to Nima County, the people there welcome you just like the people in Grand Bassa. All over. Unfortunately, he says, on the trip, I was startled and deeply troubled to encounter multiple county hospitals. People die in Liberia. What happened to their spirit, I wonder? When you're taking the money and putting it in your pocket, you know the children that die, or because people elected you. You know people die just so you'll be in that position. Let me read on. We all, every one of us, I'm included, we are ourselves, are the worst enemy for ourselves. Unfortunately, on the trip, I was startled and deeply troubled to encounter multiple county hospitals that received not one penny of what they were promised in the 2022 budget. Not 23, in the 1922, no, 2022 budget by the government of the Republic of Liberia. Hospital on which lives depend, where outbreaks are prevented and suffering is supposed to be, now he's saying, alleviated, did not receive any portion of the 100,000 or more appropriated by the legislature for them to operate. As reported in the press last week, with Tiawangan Memorial. That's the hospital in Lofa County. I can't pronounce it real well. I think I know that name. No? Okay, well, let me leave it. Let me don't chop it any more than what it is. Memorial Hospital in Lofa County. These facilities currently survive on the bikes of incredible dedicated health professional, making do with whatever they can scrape together. And they think that a serious business. I need to take my time and read it. Lest you think this is the work of one political party. That notion was quickly dispelled by Liberians I talked to. The blocks of resources is so complete. The blocking of resources is so complete that it must be institutional. So you say, no, you want political party, it's institutional. And the lack of any alarm being raised indicates a syndicate. Like Union Falcon language. And Union Falcon say that a brother, that Union Falcon language of syndicate, cartel, involving players at the legislature, the Minister of Health, and the Minister of Internal Affairs. How does he know that one? This is U.S. Embassy. How does he know that? Okay, let me read that. So he said maybe, he said maybe. The blocking of resources is so complete that it must be institutional. Must be institutional. The Minister of Health, must be institutional. And the blocking and the lack of any alarm being raised indicates syndicate involving players at the legislature, the Minister of Health, and the Minister of Internal Affairs. In one town, administrators look with anticipation, mixed with fear at the brand new modern hospital that sits vacant, knowing that they can barely keep the existing makeshift facility going, and running the new one will require 10 times the resources. Yeah. Liberia, we're suffering, my people. We're suffering. We're going to need somebody, not through violence, but somebody to clean house. Let me read on. The United States government, this is the interesting one. The United States government is about to spend a total of over US $40 million constructing Liberia's state-of-the-art national reference laboratory that, when completed, will require US $3 million to $4 million a year from the government of Liberia to operate. Now listen now. If the government is failing to deliver statutory appropriation of only US $100,000 to existing hospital, why will we ever trust on your pledge of $3 million for future NRL? He said that slap they may get us today, man. Yeah. Right now, my job won't say anything. That one dirty slap he gave us today. We call ourselves educated people. Man, let's move from here. I also visited most of the county service center. That's another area now. And in 2022, none have received any of their budget allocation, usually around, listen to this, we're suffering, usually around 13,000, Samson, what do you do with $13,000 a month? Let me see. Well, I'm not going to say. $13,333, okay, annually, not a month, annually, a year, $13,000 a year. The people making more than that a month. One center has not printed. Listen to this. Yeah, we're suffering. One center has not printed marriage certificates for 4 years because the printer broke. In Liberia. Yeah. Then when we're ready to go home, Liberian, when they're ready on that plane, yeah, my man, I'm going to enjoy myself. I'm going to Moret. You see the kind of luggages these people have. You see the kind of luggages people have. And when we're ready, Sandway power, you go. If I open my Sandway book right now, your thing say, I own Sandway. Why are we suffering each other like this? I don't know. Let me go on. Virtually, okay, no. Broke, and their last allocation was received 5 years ago. 5 years ago, that's when the people came to power. Since that time, nothing. They're calling to them. Virtually all of them beautifully electrify. Listen to this. All of the centers are virtually all of them beautifully electrified over the past 2 years with what? UNDP supplies solar panel system costing around $35,000 to $40,000 each. And MLAT staffed by mostly salary employees. Internal building are reduced to the job of middleman. I need my glasses. Okay, who cares? I tell you, I can't read anyway. Middleman. Limited to forwarding paperwork to Monrovia periodically for time-consuming process. The applied makes a mockery of decentralization efforts. They employ people. We ain't got nothing to do, but from time to time they take paperwork to Monrovia. It will be that. The one functioning office in every center, the Liberian Revenue Authority has representatives who collect duties and regularly forward fund to Monrovia. Apparently, a one-way ticket. No, he's a ticket. He's a ticket, but a one-way street. That means when they the same thing the people party used to do. Collect money, taxes in total, send it to Monrovia, nothing coming by. One-way street. This is the ambassador telling us the kind of dirty slap they may give us today. And that's something to play around. I'm just laughing because I don't want to cry. It was striking that the future, that the farther I went from Monrovia, the more elaborate and explicit were the reason. Listen to the reason the people giving them why the people can't get their money. Were the reason given for the lack of funding from the central government. Oh, they said, it is challenging for the government these days. Oh, they said, Putin war has made everything more difficult. Prices have dropped. Prices have dried up the budget a year. Your donor partner must fill the gap. I wonder if these people are aware that, much to their credit, the LRA has surpassed the projection and increased revenue for the past 4 years, claiming from, listen to this, claiming from US 435,682 million in 2019 to now US 605 million 605,000 million. Okay, whatever. I suspect the country folk don't know that the Liberian economy grew by 3.7% in 2022. And I am quite sure they have not been told that the legislature has spent more every year for the past 3 years, buffering their own beer. Allocating over US 65 million in 2022 for salary and operational for them, the legislature. $65 million. Okay. That's correct. Why hospital went without a service center watering on the van? The 30 senator and the 73 the 30 senator and the 73 representative spent $65 million fraudulently their own nets. People all they're making themselves feel good. This, my people, is the spirit of greed. Before I go on, why do you think these people should help the people that elected them? Because they consider them their enemies. They go to church. Most of the people go to church on Sunday. But as soon as they enter the church, everyone else that is outside of the church becomes their enemy, according to the preacher. So why now would you expect them to do something for their enemy? You don't want to help your enemy. You want to see your enemy bow before you. And so what's the best way to do that? Give yourself certain amount position, and after that, they're so broke that your enemy are so broke, they line up in front of your offices every day begging. Let me read on. Listen to this. Listen to what this man's telling us. The dirty slap he gave us today. This is a mean one. After you put that dirty slap in our ears, and you hear, wah, this is a one here. After you move a hand, this is a one here. He said, we've withheld 25% of the salary. 25% of the salary of our Liberian employees at the resident and at the embassy to pay their legally mandated income tax to the LRA. Why are the much better paid representatives and senator not paying a full 25% of their salary? That the sound of the slap you're hearing here. He said, the Liberian people we employ in our building, at the embassy, at our residence. Every time we pay them, we hold 25%, and we pay that 25% to the IRA as their taxes. Why the people who get $65 million are not paying 25% of their salary? Okay, let's go on. Why are legislators and ministers, those living on the top of the heap, giving annual duty-free import that deny the IRA much needed additional revenue? Is there any reason other than the pervasive vision of the golden rule? Those that have the goal make the rules. U.S. taxpayers spend around $60 million a year on healthcare in Liberia. They give the money, they're not them who taking the healthcare money to spray around. They give it to the government. This is why I think his frustration is coming from. Yeah, but he knows what money they're giving them. And then when he went around the country, the people didn't get nothing. So what happened to that money? Okay, let's go ahead. Oh, what happened to my stuff? What happened? Okay, just give me a break. They tell I'm smarting you. Okay. And another $25 million on education. The same legislature that spent $65 million on its 2022 appropriated around $7.1 million for grant and subsidy to county health facility and $2.7 $6 million for operation of business secondary education. Although, as we saw, that doesn't mean that the fund reached their intended destination. Yeah. Now you see, now you're down. They appropriated all this money in the I hate to use this word I'm gonna be using here because the people been using it, but I really don't believe it until now, reading this thing. They money develop business in Liberia, even into the government. They how they call it, 401 or 914, whatever they call it, or 911, whatever they call it, it's in Liberia. The man is saying they have this thing, but most likely it didn't reach that destination. Yeah. Let me read. Now from my phone, I'll be locking up from time to time. Okay. But if the legislature could just, he come to slap her again. He come to slap her again. He said, let me go through that again. But if the legislature could just appropriate an additional $10 million a year to primary education for a country that is tied in less place for average day of school attendance, an additional $10 million a year for a county hospital, even the greatest cynic considered that it would make a big difference. Just US $500,000 each year of actual maintenance, not making believe budget fund. Okay, on 4 uphill unpaved on 4 unpaved Zaza Vanyama Zvedru Freetown. Let me read that again because that's my interest. I want to make sure I get it. On 4 unpaved roads, Zaza Vanyama, Zvedru Fishtown, Greenville, Barclayville City, and Greenville, Buchanan would dramatically improve the lives of more than millions of Liberians, poor and citizens, lowering full cost, revolutionize farm to market access, and eliminating a seasoning shortage of life-saving medicine and equipment. The legislature will still have used US $43 million a year to somehow get by. Instead, he's saying instead of $65 million, if you just give some money to better off of 1 million Liberian people life, and you still have $43 million, I think you'll be able to get by. Anyone interested in the pro-poor agenda? There's another slap. There's another slap for CDC. There's another slap. It's a dirty slap in the ear of sedition. This is a dirty slap in the ear of sedition from the ambassador. Let me read that again. Is this? No, let me read. Anyone interested in the pro-poor agenda? Anyone? With all the crooks and all the wickedness. Anyone interested in the pro-poor agenda is a dirty slap in the ears of sedition. And I'm a slap, the ambassador slap. As for me, should the U.S. Congress ask how, it's the end of that slap. If you not see on TV, the people that can be doing a slapping game, the men put a hand in the potter. In the pot of everything white with the sand. The man, he let her eat on the table. He let her eat back. He let her eat on the ground. He want to eat on the table. So this is what he's saying now. This is the last one. He tell I don't want. Hey, let me say that. I used to play bread on the beach in the barracks. When you play and everybody miss it, then you eat your bar. You had a bar here, right here. You eat your bar. And sometimes you use your heel. If you're wicked, you use your heel. But most of the time, you eat your bar. You say, put your hand down. Because you miss it. That's the game. You miss it, I eat everybody's bar. The man coming to eat our bar again. Hey, yeah. Ambassador McCarthy, the bar you eating here, let me say that. He said, for me, should the U.S. Congress ask how the elite in Monrovia are treating the destitute citizen in the Leeward County? My honest response will have to be, these citizens are treated with neglect that bore on contempt. Is this the best Liberia can do? I give up. Let me call my son to give me cold towel. Let me pull in my ear a little bit so my ear can cool down because it's hot. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. That is slap you put in your ear. Then tomorrow, I will come here and talk about role. Where is the sincerity in that? Let me first of all start with myself. Where is the sincerity? What exactly am I trying to achieve here? I come here every day and talk about how bad the roads are and how bad things are and what have you. Where is the sincerity? Where is the sincerity? Let me share this. Let me share the platform here so for those who have it so they can get it. Okay? Where is the sincerity? Okay? When you have people who, and here's the interesting thing. Go on Facebook. The president was in Buchanan today. Campaign start. That's definitely. But he was in Buchanan. Don't ask me what he was doing though. He was in Buchanan. Okay? He was in Buchanan. And let me send this out. He was in Buchanan today. And the people, they were there shaking hands, happy to see him. Well, they should be. He's our president, of course. They should be happy. They should be happy. They should be happy. If the man is in Buchanan, for what reason, I don't know. But they should be happy to receive him. There's no reason why they shouldn't receive him. And when they did, I mean, that's fine. That's fine. So I just sent a link. Hopefully some other guys will be joining me here this evening. But this is just the interesting thing is many Liberians you talk to on this thing, they say, well, we know what the ambassador talking about anything strange, we know that. But if we all know these things, why are we quiet? Why must it take the ambassador to rouse my spirit? For what reason? For what reason? When will we have this savior, young Liberians, to actually help us out? Liberia is not, it's just like with Liberia, just like any other human being. Look what happened in Sudan. Don't think say it's far away from us. Because one of these days, Liberians will call the bluff of the democracy business again. They will call it. They did it before. And don't think they don't have the ability to do it again. But why would we even get there? Why should we even think about that? We have people who have the ability to lead. But we, Liberians, don't want to pick. There was, I don't even want to touch that. I don't want to touch that. Common election. If you are truthful and say, I'm not going to vote for you because I feel you have nothing to offer, you're the person's enemy for life. For life. Instead of them to tell Ice Cube, what do you mean? And how can I improve myself? And let that person explain themselves why he think you're not the rightful person to lead at this time. But then you becomes the worst enemy of that person. the ambassador slapped today. Embarrassing though, but it should be a wake-up call for all of us. All of us. All of us. All of us. There was a certain time here, about 2 years or so ago. There was his Australia iron ore mine executive. He went to Liberia as an investor. I think he went to Liberia by way of Middle East as an investor. What happened? The man never fought back in there. He's still doing huge business in other countries though. Never fought back in there. I don't know. Why, what exactly is going on with this president? That every investor, major investor that he puts his hand in, either they are not truthful or they are not people of good character, or they just don't come back. What is happening with our leaders? And to be honest, then maybe I'm being naive, but I never knew this. I never heard of this president to be into Krugerji business. I never heard that. And I'm into soccer business, so I know a lot of his story. I know other story about him, which is not. I'm not going to talk about that here. But with all of the bad story, whatever it is that they tell you, not once did you hear, oh, he took money from the people and crooked them. I never heard that about this president. Never. There are other stories that are not of a decent stuff, but in terms of crooking people with money and stealing people things that don't belong to, I never heard that. I never heard that. And so now to be the president of the Republic of Liberia, if these people are doing it, fire them. For Christ's sake, they're not helping us. Fire these people. Or turn them over to the proper authority. But you cannot run this government based on friendship. This is what you get. And if you becomes re-elected, Mr. President, you can't run the next government, your government, based on friendship. You bring people, strange people that you don't even know. So bring people like Samson too. You mess around, you don't know me. You fire me. I can't know saying come and bring here Samson too. That you think that working on government, you think I run here and go your way. You don't know me. I don't know you. So you fire me. But when you bring somebody who's been friend, my man, they think you doing my man, they don't go. What that kind of thing and sport friendship. The government of the Republic of Liberia that you're running. And you can't fire these people. You cannot even reshuffle, move them here, put them there. You're not even doing that. And then you have the ambassador slapping the entire country. All of us. All of us. Folks, Samson told. Yeah, another mayor. Yeah, another mayor. He said, find something good to talk about. I think you are not serious. But he here watching me. These are the people, they will eat their lunch. Colo, their eyeball open, somebody eating their lunch. They will not say anything. Yeah, you almost say, "Una zero, man." I just started. I read that. He can't watch me. He said, "I got anything to talk about." But anyway, no, seriously, guys. What the ambassador stated here today? What is in there that is not true? What is he saying? What does that suggest about us? What does this suggest about us? Who are we? And one other question that I have about this whole thing is, with this kinds of mindset that we have about each other, about ourselves, and the way we carry on, do we have the ability to move this country forward? Not moving individual forward, because that's we're very good at that. We fool the people, we get into government position, and then we move ourselves forward. That we're very good at that. But I'm saying, do we have the ability collectively to come together as a group and recognize that this country needs to move as a group in the next stage? Can we do that? Do we have these people to do that? Do we have people among us to do that? It's a very serious issue. We have the former leadership, former government, the past government, and according to the stuff that I've been reading, over $25 billion with B, went through their hands, and nothing good to show. They don't even have structure, political structure. And I heard again today, I read something where ExxonMobil now is trying to get some oil block. This is a same oil block business today. Rawasali, according to story, it's rich. They're coming back with oil block business again. So let me bring my brother on here. Are you ready? Yeah, he is. Okay. Sister, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for joining. How are you doing?
I'm all right. I wanted to come rescue you because like not easy on you tonight.
Not easy. Not easy. Yeah, not easy.
How are you doing?
Yeah, but this is you know, I have another program that I was going to do, quiet one, where I was just going to go into a road business. You know, they have a new company from Germany that is doing these new construction methods, trying it in Liberia. And basically what they're trying to do is stabilize soil. Soil stabilization process is nothing new, but the way these people are doing it is so unique. They take the chemical and they're not releasing that information about how the chemical is made, but they take these chemical compound, and they dig out the old dirt, and as the old dirt is being dug up, it goes through that chemical, and the compound form a unique brand around that rock, around the soil rocks, but they pack them back together. But because of that chemical or compound that is put around like a cocoon, they put it around those rocks, and now the rock, when they get together, they form themselves, align themselves in a way that is easy to compact, and it's not easily broken down. And that's the compound that people are using. Now, you can say, then why don't they use lime? Because lime does the same thing. Well, yeah, lime does the same thing, but lime, you have to repeat the process, you know. But anyway, that's what I was going to discuss today. But then,
but a bigger concern to that though would be not releasing the chemical makeup, the components of their compound, for other people to do a study and find out if that compound actually seeps into the groundwater, and how long does it take, and how harmful it is to the environment. Then we just using ourselves as guinea pigs all over again.
Right, but they are calling to their website that all of that concern have been relieved or alleviated by the UN environmental agency that have done study on that. And they gave their seal of approval.
Did they release the study that the UN environmental agency did on it, or they just said we should?
They wrote it in German, so I couldn't read it, but that's what they said, you know. But anyway, go ahead. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate it. So this ambassador stuff, is it because he's getting ready to leave, so he decided to give us some sort of a whammy, or this is something that perhaps came to him quite recently, and he really taken back the way people have been treated in our country?
I think anybody who's following Ambassador McCarthy will be hard pressed to say that this is a goodbye treat, because this is exactly what he's been doing. I mean, the J.J. Rao speech, what would J.J. Rao say to everything else, from when he had just had a basketball game with Dr. Weir to releasing the scathing stuff and all of those things? This is what has been happening all along. The ambassador has not been, I mean, even when he comes against what is perceived as opposition interests, he's never been somebody to bite his tongue. But I think if you look at the opening paragraph of the press release, it talks about that he had made an effort, that was his intention, to visit every county. And so this is a holistic commentary on what his experiences are, looking at the entire thing in totality. And so he talked about there not being quite a difference in trade, except for maybe for a little bit of a cultural stuff. And he talks about, on the whole, Liberians are welcoming. And then he talked about what he's seen that looks like a common thread throughout all of the counties. So I don't think this is a goodbye to anybody. I just think it's McCarthy being McCarthy.
I agree. And let me ask this: you think this is perhaps laying out the groundwork, and what in other words, what is to be expected from as the new person come in, to give him some sort of a blueprint, a map of say these are the kinds of stuff when you come here, these are the things that are happening, and these people are like this and are like that. You think that's what he's trying to do here, or this is just something that someone who was in Liberia before as a Peace Corps person and perhaps was there, saw the suffering and said, what? And then he got back, nothing have changed. And perhaps this is what most likely hurting, or not hurting, so to speak, but getting to him as a human being, first of all, before becoming, and then as an ambassador.
Well, let's remember that the ambassadors don't have their own foreign policy agenda. They carry out the foreign policies agenda of the president as expanded by the U.S. State Department. And so what people should not forget is that in American governance system, there's continuity, especially if you stay dealing with the same government. So this is the same President Joe Biden. And McCarthy was not being rogue in Liberia. That's not the reason he's been removed. And so whatever McCarthy had been doing, whatever had been the focal point, I don't think the focal point is going to change. You remember Ambassador Linda Greenfield Thomas, I used to be in Liberia back in the day. Yeah. At one point in time, even kind of echo some of the things that McCarthy has been saying. So this is not something to say, oh, we remove McCarthy and the new person coming in, so it's going to change. It's not going to change. I mean, McCarthy, the new person might not be holding press releases, conferences as often, but it's going to be the same focus, because that person.
But then sister, let me ask you this, because you're not strange to the political system and the politics and things like that here in the United States. You've been involved, even though I know it's on a local level, but I'm sure these method of running campaign and things like that, you could still use that same mentality on the national scene. And so I think I can do it on that and try to get some of your experiences on this thing. Why do you think, if these people feel like this about this country, why are they still giving money to these governments? Well, I would just say Liberia. Why are they giving money to Liberia, knowing full well that and these people, when they come, they read the old report. I'm sure these people, when McCarthy is leaving, he will leave a report down. Why are these people still giving money then?
Well, I think the U.S. government is always going to give money. I think you'll be hard-pressed to find countries in the world where the U.S. government does not give money to support democracy, or to support human rights, or to support something that they look at to be a respectable moral compass of the U.S. And so the United States is not just going to say we can't give money to Liberia, we can't give money to Sudan. you know, or these other places. You give money, but you give money based on certain things. And then when you find out that there is way too much corruption and stuff, you start to shrink how much money you give. That's why when you look at how much money is being poured into the Liberian government right now, and you look at it over the years, say compared to stabilized governments, to the Taylor time, to the Ellen time, to the Doe time, you see variances. And that's how they use that. And at some point in time, they might take the money from going directly to the government and start to channel their funnel that through USAID and other developmental partners. Because if they don't trust you with the money anymore, then they give it to USAID and they give it to other agencies, right? But the United States is not going to say, well, we can't give money to strengthen the democracy in Liberia. We can't give money to strengthen rule of law. Now, if it's not being used for that, they can come out and they can be as forceful as the ambassador was. And at some point in time, maybe even use the Magnitsky Act to go after people that they think. Because remember, this man talk about $60 million of U.S. taxpayers' money.
Mm-hmm.
So if people are abusing that and misappropriating that, there are going to be some people here accountable for that. Right,
Mm-hmm.
He's talking about what, $25 or $20 million that has been sent as a support to the education system in Liberia, when our own budget is way below that. So if our budget is way below that, you're getting more money than you appropriate. I want you to use it for the education system. And so to answer your question, they're going to continue to give money because they need that strategic that reliance, so that should anything come about, we still got these people, we still can push on them. So the U.S. is not going to completely dry out, pack out, and leave. Even with the Taliban right now taking over in Afghanistan, there's still U.S. money going towards strengthening democracy in Afghanistan. And so the U.S. is strategic about that. Now you got to look at the volume of money that goes there. And then you also now have to look at, do they invite your leaders? And when they invite your leaders, where do they invite them to? If you follow recently what happened with the Taiwanese situation, when the president of Taiwan came and stopped in California, and then ended up visiting Kevin McCarthy, you look at those things, and the Chinese government looked at it as, you know, the speaker should not be meeting with the president because that carries a message. And so now when you look at Ellen coming here and being allowed to address the sitting of the legislature versus our president comes and he's not giving that much fanfare, this is how America will use diplomacy to say, look, man, we don't respect you as much, or we don't think you're doing what you need to do as much, but they're not just going to cut dry and leave. It's not going to happen. Especially so, look at the historical relationship between America and Liberia, right?
Yeah.
And for some of us that are here, we will not sit down and allow those things to go free. We will push our legislators, we will get active politically to make sure that money is sent to Liberia. I really don't, even during the Taylor time, I would have still asked for money to be sent to portions of Liberia to strengthen certain facets of our society. So for example, and really quick, then I stop. When you did what McCarthy spoke of here, comes from the framework of the totality of the report of the Department of State, the 2022 report of the Department of State.
Right.
Because in there you see all of these nitty-gritties. In fact, when the ambassador spoke about Liberia being one of the worst attendance, having one of the worst attendance rate in schools. Right, that was coming from a playbook from a paragraph in the statement from the Department of State,
Human Rights Report.
Inequity in education, and it talks about the inequity with respect to gender, how girls sometimes don't have access to school or don't go to school because they might have other issues that should be solved, but they're not being solved because you don't have these clinics that the ambassador spoke about. You also talk about the inequity in people living with disabilities, and those people not having access to school a certain time of the year. And so when you look at the ambassador throwing that in there with Liberia having one of the worst rates in attendance, that is coming directly from a paragraph in the State Department report. So people who are thinking there's going to be a new ambassador and so everything's just going to flip over, it's not going to happen.
Okay. Mr. George, good evening. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Toe and
yeah, before you came in, I was saying earlier in my opening, Tucker Carlson got fired today, and I was saying all of the conservatives that are here on the LPR platform were taking note of you and were watching because I think if the Bo and everybody else and all of the people decide, you and Mr. Soul, if you guys don't try to moderate and come our way, then perhaps we need to have that discussion. But anyway, I was running my mouth on both of you, so let me just give it to you guys today. But on a very serious note, let me ask you this. The ambassador made it clear that the legislature was getting $65 million in 2022. They passed a budget, and other services, centers, or even some hospitals did not get anything that was in that budget, according to the budget. They didn't get no money. But yet still the legislature were getting paid. They got paid handsomely. Why you think is it greed, or it's just something we Liberians don't care for each other?
Let me say something first. You are trying to shift blame here. Shifting blame on opposition, on this and that, on we. Instead of putting the blame at George we are fault, but you're looking for a partner to tie to George we are. So I just want to make that clear. On this platform, we have spoken against the budget. We have spoken against the budget consistently. Even when they were trying to pass the pension thing, we spoke about it on this platform. But what is happening? It's not just greed, it's greed and wickedness. Those are the things, greed and wickedness. Remember, sometimes lines were full lines. When Mervyn Cole and the government of Liberia said that they were taking the doctors from Phoebe Hospital because the hospital, the Lutheran Church has refused to allow them to put somebody on the board of the hospital. But the church gave them the right to go nominate anybody, administrator, businessman, everything. Mervyn Cole then said because they were not on that board, they withdrew the doctors from the only referral hospital in Bon County, Phoebe. And I was on the platform yelling. And I said these words. I said, those people who would die from that hospital, their blood will be on William Najari's hand and Mervyn Cole and the rest of the other people. I said it here. These are the things we talk about. Because when they said they passed the budget, funds are allocated for the hospital, it doesn't go there. And when we raise the question, they say, we don't like George. We are. The government is trying. We are the one bashing the government. It can right back. These will sit down. They do not pay taxes. They don't. As the people in the rural, they go and collect all the money from the rural area, the resources, it comes to Morovia, and they play in it. Mr. Cemetery, Samuel Jackson described as one of the smartest finance ministers in the region. He tells you that there is surplus. But when there is surplus, where is the surplus when teachers cannot get paid? 2 months, 3 months, they're behind pay. Where is the surplus goes to? These are the things we continue to talk about. When we said Bible Hospital, it's well built. The other day I heard someone asking, is the hospital being functional now? Died down. Where is the money allocated for those areas? These are the questions. For me, I don't turn it as greed. I go to the point, it's wickedness. And I always say this. I remember when I was growing up in Morovia, JFK was #1 hospital. I never went to JFK and they told me that I was no medication at the time I grew up in Morovia. JFK, I never went there when I was growing up. That they said, today no hospital, no medicine, no medication at the hospital, you gotta go to the drugstore. Never. That was during the Congo people days. But the Congo people today, JFK is a death trap. Phoebe Hospital, Telewan Hospital, all the hospitals in the area are death trap. We say, we the country people, we have the country, we have the people at heart. But if you love me, and man say I can't get treatment, but you're taking my money. So it's not a point of greed. It is to the point of wickedness. And the U.S. government, let me just point on it. The U.S. government will never stop sending money to Liberia. Because, in this international world, I don't care what happens, they need country at a certain time. And I will give you one typical example. The vote to create Israel, it was Liberia vote. One vote to create the state of Israel. The US needed that vote. So if you say you want to abandon so many countries because of the corruption thing, when it comes to a big stage, like the UN, this country will not vote for you. So even the regime can be corrupt, and we say, why they send him? They will say, hey, we don't deal with individuals. These are some of the reasons when people say, oh, but why the government continue to send money? Yeah, they have to send it. Even to the point, sometimes it reaches with this channel through other private institutions, and they're doing it now. Some private organization will put the money there instead of giving it to the government. But these are the reasons that we find ourselves today. What is happening to President Weah? The man, every day you go, you play that speech from the inauguration. Oh yeah, that was a brilliant speech. But look at what is happening to the people. Look at abject poverty. If you go to the health report on Liberia, you will see how many women die in childbirth 21st century in Liberia. But these people come to tell you that they are fighting for the people. Just they want to improve the life of the people. Samuel Tuer cannot tell you, going to 6 years as Minister of Finance, how many people they have lifted out of poverty in Liberia.
So
he said he never had it. He never had the numbers.
Let me ask you
Can I disagree with my papa a little bit?
Oh yes, yes, yes.
I think sometimes we got to put things in fair context. I think a lot of things you said I agree with. I disagree with the issue of JFK and the country people taking over, and now all of a sudden we don't have drugs. The JFK, when it was built initially, remember when it was open in 1971, started getting built in 1965. When it got open in 1971, how much of our countryside was open to access Monrovia to come to JFK for drugs? And so you didn't have the demand that the JFK has right now back in those days. As a matter of fact, it was a strategic idea to keep JFK in Monrovia and not have subsets or substations in the rural counties as a way of keeping that for the elites. JFK kind of was for the elites when it was built. Just like when LU was initially built, the region that lay small land were put over there was initially because people felt like they only needed a certain class of people going there. So let's be fair to governments that have come since 1971, because the country has opened up. A lot more people have come into Monrovia. A lot more people have access to JFK. Therefore, they've put a burden on their system. Now, does that mean that governments should not work to have drugs available? No. But to try to compare apples and oranges, I think is wrong. To try to give credit to the True Week Party because they restricted access to JFK and therefore ran a private public hospital that meaning that they were efficient, I think is wrong. And I think that's the message I got from this. I don't think that.
Let me ask you, Mr. George.
Hold on, sister. Granted. But how much money is the government putting in right now? How much money the government is putting their side? I will give it to you for that point. Okay,
that is not even the argument. That is not.
Hold on, sister. Population increase, granted. But how much money is the government funding that hospital? Today,
okay. Mr. George, those are two different arguments. Your first argument, because if you look at even the budget of 1971, how much money has been put into JFK, the percentage is lower than what George Weah has put into it. The point I'm making to you is that doesn't mean George Weah and the CDC or Madame Salih weren't supposed to put money into JFK.
Okay, let me
saying that the analogy you're trying to draw that somehow the country people took over and all of a sudden everything fell apart. I said to say everything.
Okay, let me ask that, Mr. George. Let me ask that.
That's my view. You can disagree, but that's my view.
Fair point. He also have the ability and she'll be able to disagree with you. But let me ask Sissy this question. Sissy, let me ask you this. We're saying now, even if we're not saying it, but is the elephant in the room, in that this government is on President Weah, and this statement is made while President Weah is the leader of the country, the father of the country, and it says something rotten going on in the country. So whatever it is, even if we don't call his name, we're still logically going to be wrapping it around him. Let me ask you this. You think the next government that will be or might be coming to power, you think this is unique to this government and past government, that the present government perhaps will see reason to change?
But that is why if you read the ambassador's report, he said people should not be fooled to think that this is just about this regime, that has happened before. And he talked about there being like a cartel-like situation that exists within the government, that in the legislature and internal affairs was named particularly, right? This has been stuff that's been going on for a long time. And you're looking at legislators that approve a budget, okay, and then budget, and then they leave it alone. And then you look at the executive that's supposed to carry out whatever the budgetary requirements are that were voted upon. And then you find out, according to the ambassador, even the 100,000 that's will be split among these hospitals, Telewian has a problem. They haven't even received their share of that $100,000, right? And so you're looking at money gets appropriated. We get this huge budget that we celebrate, but then somehow the money does not go to where it's been appropriated, and nobody's being held accountable. Right, the legislature is not calling the executive to hold them accountable for why that money is not going where it's going. The head of the executive, who is the president, is not calling people to check on it to find out where the money was not going. And so my problem is that now that we know what we know,
but Sissy, I think the ambassador made that point.
Yeah, that's the point I'm making.
Most likely there are players who are involved.
That's why he said a cartel. He said a cartel. And so now that we know what we know, we have to start pressing these people who are running to replace the Dr. George Weah to tell us how are they going to fight waste and corruption in government. And that's one of the things, and I hate to politicize this, but it's one of the things Tiwan Gongolo has been talking about all along, that we can fund our priorities if we just clogged those holes and fought waste and corruption in government. And this is what the ambassador spoke about, because you have a budget. And look, the ambassador, there were three numbers that man put in that thing that caught my attention. He talked about $10 million each for the health sector and for the education sector. And let's not forget, it is a constitutional right in our Liberian Constitution to provide for equal access to quality public education. And so when Lofa County has 2 or 3 public high schools, a Bon County, you would have got to come to Swakoko District, or go to Bofe or Doloke, and everywhere else is nothing. And I don't even want to talk about Kawiyake and other places. It is a gross abrogation of the constitutional authority of the government. But let's forget that. The man is saying, well, all these 65 million, all these people taking money going here, U.S. government giving $60 million to health and $25 million to education. If the government just put $10 more million each into healthcare and into education, and beyond that, just $500,000 into not creating new roads, just maintaining 4 major roads. The road in Zozo that recently now we get Thomas Fala there with plenty of money wasting it, but they cannot even use $500,000 to maintain 4 major highways in the country. So the ambassador is talking about a $20.5 million that will improve the stock of the Liberian people. So we got to now hold people who are running.
He said millions of Liberians. He said
yes.
But let me ask.
If people who are willing to replace George, we got to start asking them to tell us how are they going to ensure that waste and corruption.
So people don't waste their time with that.
And how are they going to prosecute people?
They will not even answer questions. So as far as I'm concerned, I don't even want to bother myself with them. But let me ask Imam George before I put a number out there. Mr. George, the question to you is this blame that perhaps we tend to blame the government officials and the legislature, the executive? The Liberian citizens themselves, are they also responsible for this behavior?
Yes and no. But let me say this way. How many times you have seen people in Bon County, Lofa, Nima, Grand Union, Maryland, Basel, demonstrating against the government? How many times? No. Never. Those people They live in there just to say, okay, anything that comes, that's it. It's una Morovia. That small group make some noise sometimes. That's it. So the small group that are in Morovia all take sides, depending on the government are in power. Once I'm connected to that government, I'm benefiting directly or indirectly from that government. There's nothing wrong with that government. And this is why some of us have made our business taking the risk to speak on some of these issues. Because I always say, if we remain silent, that means the country is done. So we have to continue to preach, to speak on this issue, and even not just on present government, but I say that those who intending to come to take power, whether they come to us now, we have to continue to call their names. Because we cannot just blame this one government and say, oh, this means other people come to change it. No, we are not guaranteed. What we can do is to continue to call them, to hold them, to explain to us. If they don't come, we have to continue to call them by names.
Okay, I'm going to put it in
the... remain silent, I mean, we are letting the country down. And this is the point that we are. These guys sit down in Morovia, collect that kind of loans, collect that kind of huge sum of money. God tell me. So many people, they don't go home. Maybe one year, maybe someone will go there one time. That's it. And they just go to their house, that they pay to get it, go there, sit down with their people to come back. That's it. And you're seeing the suffering. This is not something that you say you cannot see. I will tell people, when you go to Liberia, drive 40 miles outside that quota road, go to any part of Liberia. Leave that Toronto highway, go 30 or 40 miles inside. You're going to see something that your eyes will not believe. The last time I was there, 2021, when I went there, 2 weeks, someone from Morovia, this was from Grand Crew. I started going to the village. They said, oh, I'll go home. I said, but my man, you can't speak better. You know, he said, you carry me. Anything happen to people hold you. So he said, we got to the town, we left to the town. Driving, going to San Diego. We stopped somewhere. The guy asked me, Amos, what is the life of these people here? I said, no, you're in Morovia. He said, I've never been outside of the quota going bang and Ganta. I said, nah. You see, when we're talking some of the things, you'll say, why you'll be seeing this? I said, these people, they're waiting for their time to die. So many people here. Their life will not be changed, nor the children. The owner there, the day God say, when son said, God say, come back, they're gone. I said, okay. These are things we're speaking against.
Let me put a number up. Folks, if you care to give us a call, you can do so, 916-533-2048. Okay, let me go to Cece. Cece, same question to you. Do you think Liberian people themselves should also take blame for all these behavior that are being exhibited by our leaders and those who are supposed to be caring for our brothers and sisters and fail?
No.
Okay.
And,
why is that?
And here's why no.
Okay.
Until somebody can show me, because let me lay a foundation. The people that are answerable to the Liberian people at large are the people who the Liberian people stand in line to cast their lot to be their leaders. And those people are the members of the legislature and the president and vice president of the Republic of Liberia. Heads of government agencies and functionaries do not answer directly to the Liberian people because they were not voted for.
Right.
Now, having laid that foundation, there is no platform that I saw in 2017 or before of any person running, whether they lost or they won, that said, elect me, I'll be the most inefficient person ever. Vote for me, I will steal from y'all, I will not do anything for y'all. And so I don't think that people casting their lot, believing in what people told them, and let's not forget, some of us who are so smart and articulate and know how to send subliminal messages and know how to contort ideas were used to blind our people with political messaging.
Yep.
We use sophisticated and smart and talented people To do you tell them when you win, you tell them when you lose, right in front of people's faces.
Go and Missy.
And many people that you're talking about
man.
are from LU.
Thank you. And some of them from the diaspora.
Yeah.
And so I do not hold the Liberian people accountable for people stealing from them.
Okay,
I think to do that will be insincere to the Liberian people. It will be too in depth because these are people that there's nobody in the village that say I'm voting so they can close down Phoebe Hospital. Nobody in Fulham did that thing for Telewian Hospital.
Right. Okay, let me take this call here. Hello, caller. Are you there, Samson? To Liberian Public. What's your name? Where you're calling from?
How you doing, Mr. Cho? This is Elvis calling from Minnesota.
Oh, Elvis, how you doing? Good evening, sir.
I'm doing well. Hope you're doing fine. And hello to Mr. Goya, and hello to the homeboy, Mr. George, Pat George. You're looking like a young homeboy today with a hot backwards.
He's on it.
But quickly, I wanted to comment on this whole.
Cesar told me to be young to that. I'm gonna make myself look young. Cesar told me that. He texted me. Pat George, come and make yourself look young to that. So okay.
Yeah, I wanted to comment on this whole Prince Johnson thing. I think you guys covered on the show today. For me, you know,
we're talking about it. We're talking about the ambassador letter, press conference.
Yeah. The ambassador is a.
But you can go ahead and make a comment on Prince Johnson as well. That's fine.
Yeah, let me get the ambassador on first, because for me, I think it's easy. A lot of blame to go around for the CDC government, of course. But what is the legislature doing in terms of oversight? They have the power to vote no confidence in these ministers that lead these ministries. They can fire those people. They can effectively make them to resign the position. If you're doing oversight and you find that so and so person misappropriated their funds, you can have them come to the legislature. You can investigate them from the legislature. That's some of the power that they have. That's what check and balances are. So they're not taking that position or taking that responsibility seriously. So those are the people who directly represent, the Liberian people. So if your district is suffering from poor health care, you have the right to inquire what's going on with the healthcare system, what's going on with the money that was allocated in the last budget. Why aren't these things working? That's your fiduciary responsibility to your people, your constituents. They're not doing it. That's why I think the ambassador said that, it's like a syndicate. Go ahead, Mr. Goya.
Let me ask you a quick question, and this I'm asking because I want to know. I don't know it. In the United States, I know the legislature, the House of Representatives, have an impeachment power to impeach cabinet secretaries. Do we have the same thing in Liberia?
I'm not sure. I mean, maybe
I haven't read on that.
I know a representative has staff.
No, we don't.
Yeah, they have office staff.
What was your question, Sissy?
So you know how recently Mayorkas were at the House, and the House has been planning to impeach. In fact, most Republicans ran on the fact that they're going to impeach the Homeland Security Secretary, and they do have the authority to carry on impeachment of cabinet appointees of the president.
Right.
So my question, when Elmis were talking about holding these people accountable and having this oversight hearing, I was thinking, could they even impeach them? So I was thinking if that same law is in Liberia, and I don't know. So I just wanted
Maybe it's
in there, but nobody even think about it. Anyway,
Let me make my last point on the whole Prince Johnson issue. I think we all agree. This clean man, Mr. Integrity, Joe Boyka. What's in it for Prince Johnson to give him his endorsement? A well-sorted, endorsement from Prince Johnson. What's in it for him?
Let's do this. Let's do this. If hold this up, I will bring that to my topic tomorrow. So let us don't get into it now. When I come in, you can come in. I know you have plenty of it to talk about.
Okay, I'll leave it there. Well, hopefully the guys can quickly talk about that last part in terms of what the legislators can do with these people who are misappropriating funds, from the U.S. government, like the ambassador said. It's kind of like a syndicate, kind of like a cartel, and the legislators are in cahoots with the government. So maybe they can touch on that quickly before you guys go. Okay. Thank you for taking my call, Mr.
Thank you very much. Abraham, you've been calling, but we have another guy on the line. So give us a call and we'll pick it up. So Mr. George.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure if it is not in the Constitution or somewhere in there where these people have the ability to impeach. I'm sure there's somewhere in the Constitution where it talks about uh, either theft, negligent, or something. Something has to be there for you, for that person to be impeached. Not only because they were appointed by the president, but they can somehow have vote of no confidence in that person. But let me take it, Maya, more here, and then we'll come back to you. Good evening, sir. Samson told LIBERIA Public Radio. What's your name? Where you're calling from?
Yes, I'm seeing this is Emmanuel Jackson. I'm calling from Boston,
Okay.
Massachusetts.
Yeah, thank you for calling. Go ahead, make your contribution.
No, I just calling to say, being that I grew up in Liberia, and I live with my uncle who was former chief of staff of the army. I know Colonel Wright, who was AD to Do. I went to school with a lot of brothers, Kirakula, all those guys in Robertsport. JFK was not for elite. As I said in my comment, there was a soldier called Sergeant Sumo. He was AD assigned to my uncle. My uncle was superintendent for Kipman. And Sumo got sick. And they took him to JFK in 1972. I still remember. He was losing his liver.
But I don't mean to interrupt you, but you just told us your uncle was a superintendent.
Yeah.
Your uncle,
No.
You haven't told me anything yet that this man came from the barracks, from one of the no go in the barracks. Go ahead, make a point.
No. Just listen to what I'm about to say.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So people were sick. Even I myself, I was sick. I was carried to JFK. I was not an elite. My family was not elite. So I mean, this myth that, you know, the Congo people discriminated and this thing, it was not. I mean, yes, there was a lot of bad things that were going on, but there was a lot of good things that were going on too. And as I said, I know Colonel Wright who died with President Doe. When the coup took place, he saw me on Broad Street. He said, Jackson, come to the marshal. I went to the marshal to him. You know, my uncle was chief of staff in the army who grew up. Even when Doe went to Cape Mount, Doe saw my uncle and he greeted my uncle. You know, so I mean, to say that, you know, those people, everything they did was wrong is not true. And in Cape Mount, as in Timothy Hospital, it was a government hospital. There was never shortage of drugs or electricity or anything of that kind.
Okay.
And then again, we all went to school together.
All right.
You know, I mean, this tribalism thing that's going on, that's what hurting the country.
Okay.
You know, those people have been going. Even you, Samson, told you gave a talk a few months ago. You said those people don't have the numbers to be voted into power, which is true. The majority have the country since 1980. Do your best now and make the country better, because those people will never come back to power.
I think
you know, so it really hurts me. It really hurts me when I hear people try to equate what's happening now with what has happened. 1980 was gone. The whole world agreed to what happened for 130 years was wrong. They gave power to the indigenous. I'm half and half. I'm indigenous. My father is Tonga man, but I cannot accept the fact that, you know, everybody was mistreated, which is wrong. We all got education on the same level.
All right, Jackson.
You know, it's not right to treat Liberians like this.
Okay, thank
you.
Let me address something before.
Yeah,
let me
I know
address something.
Eddie Wright. If you wake Eddie Wright from the grave now, he will tell you, we all live together. Kula, all the guys we used to play soccer together.
Okay, all right,
you know,
Jackson.
I mean, this division thing not good, man.
I agree.
You know, you need to stop it.
But you also have to agree, Jackson, that we all have the right to express ourselves freely. So
I know.
So but you also have the right to disagree with what you're doing here, and I appreciate that. But thank you very much,
Mr. To.
Yeah, hold on. Let me take this other colors.
Let me address this real quick because he's just got off. Because
let me take this other colors to say, please. Samson to LIBERIA Public Radio. What's your name? Where you're calling from? What's on your mind?
Yes, Mr. To, this is Prince Sharif. How are you, sir?
So how come the name coming different at 50 moment? They are what you want to call it, the CIA business, the brother president of CIA, you come and give me a different name and can't say you Prince Sharif.
Yeah, baby, no, yeah, leading the one thing. Hey, Ali, you do. You're so identified, says.
Okay. All right. All right. Go ahead, begin. Go
Yeah.
ahead. Go
But
ahead.
let me first of all use this time to say thank you for giving me the opportunity, and let me say thanks to the panelists. This is one of the places that I always, come to, listening, because it's one of the most responsible, broadcast show that we have amongst many others, like Honor the Palava Hut. So when
Thank
we
you.
come here, we come to refresh ourselves and listening to people who will intellectually discuss the issue.
Thank you.
Though I know sometimes it can really be tough, but again, I want to thank you so much. And before going to my point, let me just say, Big Brother, so something, Big Brother, so something is happening here, and I think there is a need for me to say on this platform.
Yeah, please.
It is the right of everybody to be able to, associate with whatever political institution and express their view, void of being censored by other people. But what we have observed, which is becoming alarming, and I don't want to go in that with anybody or any institution because I think it will not be correct. But I've seen an unprecedented attack on my broadcast of recent. When we are discussing issue, few group of people will just get up, report the page, even though the page will be restored after certain hours, maybe because they know there is nothing sinister that we're doing. But I think this is something that is unprecedented. Everybody
You
has the
mean
right.
your platform is being reported as what?
Or somebody just, reported while I was live and discussing. They're always doing it. They will just report the page. And after 2-3 hours, Facebook will say, well, we restore your page back because they will not see anything, but it will send the notification usually when it is reported. So I just want to say
let
that
me say this. Let me say
Do you
this.
suspect someone on this on
Yes,
our
Let me
network?
say this to you, Prince, because you're a young man that we all respect as well, even though I don't agree with you on many issues. But I would say
yes,
this to you as a little brother. Then, don't even bother. Don't even mention anything about these things. As long as Facebook recognize that you're not doing anything that is illegal and they give it back to you. Because the reason I'm
sure.
seeing this, when you come up and make these kinds of pronouncements, then those who are responsible, you are now emboldening them and giving them a platform to do whatever it is they're doing. If they do it to you and they shut you down, come up with another stuff and continue with it. Even if you want to use your phone, your son phone or whatever relative phone you want to use, and once
Sure.
Facebook find out that you're not doing anything illegal, they will restore it. But when you come out
Sure,
and
definitely.
make these kinds of pronouncements, then those who are responsible will think that they're hurting you because their intent is to make you feel the way you do now. So I would advise
Anyway,
you pay no
I think,
attention to it, and
I
let's
think,
just
I
move
think,
on.
all
Do
right.
what you're doing. You know what you're doing. You know, even if I don't agree with you, but you have the right to do what you're
Sure.
doing. So
I think there's
Thank you.
something
I
saying
would
that.
advise that you don't even mention this and don't even think about it because you're giving them platform to say, oh, you heard Prince Harry talk about I the one that shot him down the other day, and they will
I
start
know.
claiming
Anyway,
glory right now. So please don't do that.
So,
I would
sure.
say
Thank
just
so
let
you.
it go.
Okay. I
Mr. Toe,
respect the advice. Thank you so much.
Okay.
But to go to the
Prince,
issue,
Yeah.
like you said, yes, sir.
before you go to the issue, this is Sisi Goya.
Yes, sir.
My man, I've been trying to call out your show to talk about my counselor Gonglo. You won't be accepting my call, but
No, I will, be better. I will.
I just messing with you, my
After
man.
year, I
I
know, but
just
after
messing
year,
with you.
I will definitely take the number. There is a need for us to listen to the platform of the Councillor Gonglo, a
My
respected
man,
man in our nation. You have tried exceptionally well, represented so many Liberians. So, we must all give these
but on
people
a
the space. So,
on a
yeah,
serious note, Prince, I think I get what the Libra is saying, but I understand from a human side. You put a lot of work into building your platform. I've watched you several times, and I don't usually agree with what you say, but I respect that the way you are tenacious about what you believe in and how you go about
Right.
it. And I've seen
Right.
you put a lot of work into the graphics, a lot of work into your studio, and so it is kind of painful when you do all of that and somebody comes and just because they don't want to hear you out
Yeah.
of malice and do what they do, I can understand how they hurt.
Sure.
So for me, I want to recognize that side. That yes, I can see how you would say I need to come out to speak about it, because these things take a lot of time to put stuff into and do all other things. But I do, also want to side with the liberal and say sometimes some of these things you don't want to give them credence, you don't want to give them any platform, you don't want to even amplify them, But I understand, seriously, I really understand the hurt that comes with that when you put your time into your branding and everything, and somebody just because they have no legit reason just come at you. So very sorry for that, my brother. I can understand why you will say that, but I would say just like the liberal said, sometimes just wipe your butt, get up again, do something else, and keep going.
Sure, and move on. Yeah, because we have more than 60,000 persons, that follow us on that particular page. On my personal page, I have almost like 35,000 persons that follow me. So, but anyway, that's true. I listen to the advices and we try to see what to do to avoid it. But thank you so much. But to the issue, like you said, what is on my mind? There are many issues that are on my mind, but I will not speak all because I'm not an official guest.
Make it
We just go to the substantive. We just go to the substantive issue. I would first of all like to say thanks and appreciation to the government for, commencing the project of the RIA road. To thank the government for the RIA road and the completion of the road from the ERW all the way there, to Coca-Cola factory and other roads around. Big brothers, you are an engineer.
But then why you can't here and bring the thing here? You here to tick me little. I will not go for it. Right.
I know. What I'm saying is that these few days, I know you are in Liberia, a few days ago. I'm saying this to mean that the problem that we have had in Liberia with all of the sector has been tied to the issue of road. When you talk about education, there is no way that you can see an improvement in that sector in the absence of road. When you talk about the health, there is no way you can see an improvement in the absence of road. When you talk about a vibrant, economy, there is no way that you can see an improvement in the absence of road. So for the fact that this government have taken upon itself that initiative to connect Liberia to Liberians, I think it's something that we all must appreciate and we all must be grateful of. Counties that were neglected, that never even had a footpath. Today, we can proudly say, as Liberians, let's forget about the political attachment, but as Liberians, we are proud to say that yes, these counties are experiencing roads. Like today, when you look at Nimba, the Sakripi road. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You may have fun to charge me because you run a campaign.
Let Prince come on the show.
No.
Okay, this is why everybody want you to come on the show so you will have your time, and then you and us can have that conversation. Yes. I will hope you do that. But let me know on a very serious note, Prince. I don't mean to cut you off, but I know where you go with it. But let me just say this here quickly to you. Let me just say this here quickly to you. For me, I think I've stated this here many times. People have accused me of being undercover sedition, which I really don't mind with that kind of title anyhow. But to be honest with you, the president goes out and extends his hand to foreign donors. And the president goes out and based on his reputation, these are my own belief now, based on his reputation, based on his engagement, previous engagement into football, whatever it is, and people respect him and give him money to come and do these things in Liberia, I believe. But then the people go, those who are responsible. Let's take, for example, the Ralphie Highway issue that you just brought up. You're going to go and take that good intent of the president and give it to East International to do a role that they have no clue whatsoever. And nobody is saying nothing. And nobody in the government, the prince, they're still working. And the last time they said the minister herself called the project a death trap, but still they're keeping these people on there. And so this is some of the reason when these things comes about, it's not that nobody appreciates the president going out. The president is not an engineer. The president have no clue on what a road's supposed to look like. But those who are responsible,
should do the responsible thing and brings people on that will be able to do the work correctly. And don't depend on Edwin Snow and the likes of my own senator to come and run your show. This is what we carry.
Yeah, let me say this with the issue of the
please
rule.
do it quickly so we can take.
I'm not speaking for the public work minister, but when she said that was a death trap, it was based on the uncompleted work that was being done and some of the the potholes that were there and all of these areas. But it was not with the credential of the institution or the company. I'm always.
Prince Terry, one last year in Liberia.
Go there, no, I'm always in Liberia. I'm always.
No, I said when last. When last?
I was in Liberia some few months ago. But here's the issue. As we speak, there is a just learn on this. As we speak,
go ahead.
The road has commenced. And I believe that those that are working on the road, they have gone through all of the processes involved for one to be giving a contract in Liberia there. And nobody will just go there and say, well, because, for example, I'm the friend of the president, so give me the contract, let me go do it. I believe all of those who are working on the road project under this particular government, they have been adequately vetted. Yes,
Prince, when you say those kinds of stuff, then you are not going to take a different route. You cannot say, no, Prince.
Yes,
Prince,
they are,
so if they were just 2 months or so ago, if they were, you have a deputy minister fell in a hole. His car fell in a hole.
Hold on. You have the people if they were vetted
and did good. Let me just wrap it up here. Prince, I think it would be better for you to come on here and then because I know you have the command of the English language, so there's no fear in that. And not only that, but you also
at a certain point in time to just learn on this, Mr. Toe. At a certain point in time there was a break. There was a break in the process of the road rehabilitation or fixing or construction. There was a break, due to other one or two issues, with the funding. But I think now that particular issue have been taken care of, and thousands of people who travel. Look at this going time. We had thousands of Liberians that came from the diaspora that are participating in the process, and all of them gave a realistic and sincere, evaluation of that particular role. Somebody even sat on the road and they were crying.
From what perspective?
It is the first time. The person, these people. Some of them are of different backgrounds. I know
let us
appreciate what has been done on the road. This is a process. We are not saying that the road is completed. This is a process, but so far, what we are seeing is something that will go for the next 150 years.
Prince is trying to convince engineers. Prince is trying to convince engineers about engineering process. That's why I'm not.
But why?
They showed on my show. Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm extending invitation again because we would like to really, because we come out here, to be honest with you. I come out here nightly and backstage CDC. The only person that can come out here and join us is Carter. Other than that, none of you guys come out here and disabuse us. And I come out here and make some ridiculous statement and stuff like that. So I'm extending an invitation to you. Pick out a time that you're going to be able to join us, and you can join us.
In fact, tomorrow I will be on the show. I will be on the show.
Okay.
So
I'm not going to. I will talk about road tomorrow. Okay.
Exactly so. So to just conclude with this. Thank you again for giving me the opportunity. As you can see, look there as we speak. In Bapolu, as it relates to the Bapolu Health Center, this is the first time ever in the history of the Republic of Liberia that we have a health sector. A health facility in that particular area. This is something that we look at and we trust this government for, which because they are tangibles, Big Brother too, and the Big Brother, they are tangibles that we can see. So we'll be voting this government based on the tangibles that we are seeing, not on abstract. Are we? If you're giving chance, are we? No, we're talking about are we? Yeah.
Okay, all right,
talking about tangibles.
We expect you to see you tomorrow. We expect you to see you tomorrow. I will be, and when you're ready, that's my number. Just text me. And I will email you. I will send you the address. Thank you very much.
Exactly so. I'll be here tomorrow. Thank you, sir.
Right.
Thank you.
Samson to Liberia Public Radio. Samson to Liberia Public Radio. What's your name? Where you're calling from? We're way out of time. Go ahead.
Yes. Good evening, Mr. Todd. This is Mr. P. Willie here from the state of Atlanta, Georgia.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. George, and my dear brother and my friend, Mr. Sisse Warriors,
yes,
of the most, talk about Sandra Barrier, who everybody think he's new, but I think he's the best to liberate Liberia.
What's your point?
Because he voted on laws.
You're running
but let me come back. Anyway, but let me come back to the issue.
Yeah.
The ambassador press statement, Mr. Toll, I would have loved you to make Brother Prince to have remained on that subject and give his view.
He will be here tomorrow.
Because the ambassador have definitely preached. The ambassador actually preached. Let me take it from the biblical background. Most of the people in the Bible, when we are preaching, we call names of what they did, whether good or bad. And because the Bible is an example of what happened yesterday and the repetition of lives. Today, the things that are being listed in the ambassador, press release, it's a shame to Liberians. From the top to the bottom, it's a shame. And you have people coming on the show don't want to be specific to give their view. This is like people, being living in a cave, dark cave, and nobody knows exactly what they've been doing. And somebody has just gone there and said, look, this is what these people have been doing from every look and corner of Liberia. When I read the press release, I followed most of the Facebook pages in Liberia. I saw the road between Kilibo Kanwieken and Fishtown. I saw the road between Zwedru and Kilibo Kanwieken, which is very short. Councillor Bongo talked about that just recently. Yesterday, people left Monrovia. They could now reach between Kanwieken and Kilibo Kanwieken and Gwebo Kanwieken, that short distance that I know, Mr. Toh. Now, because these guys sit in the Capitol building, put figures on the paper, confuse our people. When they cross rail line going to River G, Sano, and the rest of the country, they don't even tell our people what they have done in the Capitol building. Now, the ambassador has come to reveal exactly what they have been doing. To be honest with you, let's call black a black and let's call white a white. These guys have disgraced us as indigenous and natives, or honorables. And they need to be told. They need to be told openly. And this is my campaign I'm taking to refugee. Those who sitting in the Capitol building representing my people, they need to be getting ready. By the grace of God, when Bongo takes over, and that's where I'm thinking, they need to be investigated. What did they do with all the money?
Okay.
What have they done with the money?
All right.
And you got first time you're talking about, roles, something. We're not going to intellectual that reality of the Liberian people suffering.
Okay.
These guys have done heartlessness. Wickedness is what they have done to our people.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, folks, Samson told Liberian Public Radio, I think at this point we will bring a show to an end, but I think it's an interesting one tonight. I think we're getting very close to the election. And so, but let me take this number down. Thank you guys. Say quiet, make your closing. So, and then Mr. Josh can take
to close real quick, I'm going to respond to two callers. I know my brother Prince will be here tomorrow, so I'm going to find a way. I have a business schedule tomorrow, but I'll get out of my class early just to be here. So my brother and myself will have an intellectual.
Prince will not come. Prince will not come.
Prince will be here. We'll have an intellectual conversation.
Say, don't waste your time. Prince will not come.
So, the only thing I get to say to Prince, and I don't want to respond to him while he's gone, I'm sure he's still watching, is when you talk about that, his final closing about the person in Bapolu that was talking about the hospital. I want to refer my brother to the ambassador's press release, paragraph 2, beginning at sentence number 6. And it says, in one town, administrators look with anticipation mixed with fear at the brand new modern hospital that sits vacant, knowing that they can barely keep up the existing makeshift facility ongoing. And running the new one will require 10 times those resources. So before my brother come on here to start boasting about somebody in Bapolu seeing new hospital, it was right in the ambassador stuff. Second paragraph, 6th sentence. Me, I like to just show my point so they don't go read the whole thing. The next thing is I am a little bit flabbergasted by my brother Jackson, who called and pontificated on the issue of divisiveness. I actually responded to him on the post. And sometimes it saddens me when people don't listen to the foundation or somebody lays to the argument and just takes the argument and run with it. I did say that when JFK was built, the idea, the intent, the anticipation was that it would cater to the elites, just like LU was. And sadly, my brother misunderstood, or he sadly equated elites to mean Congo people. And I like that you're asking that question about his uncle being a superintendent and the soldier he's talking about being an AD camp. And you think that's not elite? So somehow people want to get on this bed. We're going to talk about people always trying to be divisive, but because their mind has been clouded, and I want to say that, and I hope you can come on one day we'll have this conversation. I will be willing to have that conversation. When people say elite, if your mind automatically runs to being Congo, there is something wrong with your mindset. I did not say Congo or country people. I said stuff was built for elite people. There were native people that were elite people. And so let's get that fact straight, because people tend to run with this thing a lot of the time and they pontificate on nothing. You should have listened to the foundation I laid.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Josh, close it for us.
Let me just say this thing here. The question you were about to ask before Mr. Sherry came in and this and that. The legislature have the power to summon a government minister. They can sanction a government minister. But here's the question. One of the caller from minister that was saying why they can't do these things. How are they going to do it? When the president pro tem is from the ruling party, he's part of the cartel. When the speaker is from the ruling party, he's part of the cartel. The deputy speaker from the ruling party, they are part of the cartel. The chairman and executive from the ruling party, they are all part of the cartel. So how can these people summon these people to sanction them? We have seen that before. It never worked. They will not do it. Paul, you got to go back make noise. He said he writes communication on the floor, speaker take it and put it in the garage. The same thing. You should come on the Senate floor side. You just say, I'm the chairman. They take control of it. They finish. It died down. So go back to the people he elected. Go back to George Weah and the legislature. The guy, you put guy in power because you were sedition. Go there and ask him, why are they not doing this function? Why they cannot call a minister and hold him in contempt? Why they can't sanction? When they ask somebody to come, 12 doesn't come, he sent a deputy. They say, go come somebody place, I'm ready to go to a meeting. Have they ever sanctioned him or talk even to hold him in contempt? No. Because why? That whole legislature, the hierarchy of the legislature is controlled by CDC. And that is the cartel the ambassador is making. So these are the things that we're confronted with. If there was an opposition, they can say, okay, they are not doing their job. But all the time in the legislature, the House, I can't be chairman or executive. So look at it. So what I'm seeing here is the government in power today, they're running the show. They are part of this cartel today. And this whole issue, I raised the issue about country Congo. I raised the issue on NCC. I raised the issue. I'm making a comparison.
So you're guilty of that?
No, I'm not guilty. But I just want to tell him that it was not who raised the issue. I the one who used the and Congo.
All right. Thank you.
I said, elite does not just refer to Congo people. Everybody in Liberia, once you come, you dress fine, you ride good car, you are put in a category. So don't, poor boy, you want to get vet, don't get vet. I don't want to raise a Congo issue. You can tell me.
All right, Mr. Judge, we're way out of time here. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. Mr. Judge, we're way beyond. I got about 4 more minutes. I'll be wrapping it. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
By the way, Preacher said he writing a response. Preacher said he will rather respond to the ambassador message. So Preacher will respond on behalf of the Republic of Liberia.
Prince Johnson or Prince Sherry? Prince Johnson or Prince Sherry? Okay.
He said he do that. All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Okay. Again, Sissy, good night. Mr. George, good night as well. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Okay. Let me just say this here. Prince Sherry, if you're still listening, and folks, those of you that are listening, Prince Sherry said he will be here tomorrow. We start our show at 5 p.m. here in Sacramento, which is 8 Eastern time. So please turn your dial on. Prince Sherry will be with us here tomorrow, and we're going to have a conversation. But Mr. Sherry, if you're listening, let me just tell you, if you can send me any video that you have, because I'm going to be not just talking, but I will be showing some video. So if you have video that you think would help with some of your explanation, please do so by sending it to TOEARE space CHORROW Toachiaro. That's TOEARE CHORROW. Okay, I'm on Facebook. Or you can go on Facebook and or even we go to Messenger and send it to me. Or my number is right there. You can text me. You can text me the video if it's not big. Okay, so I'm doing this here so that we all will have a fair play. So that when you whatever video you have that will showcase whatever it is you're talking about in terms of development that this government is doing that people don't know about, that you have a video and you want to talk about it. So send us the video, and then let me put my name out here again so you can see it. Let me put my name out there so you can see it. TOE. Oops, did I say T or slash? Okay, it's TOEARE right there. Okay, CHARROW. Okay, you will see that will be my Facebook name. And then you can send me a message with a video, and I hope you will be able to have some nice video. Don't do like Kalasco sending video. Playing video that will show me some of the ugliness of the role itself. So most of the stuff that I have, I got them from Kalasco. So, but I know you most likely will send something, and if you're sending them, you can number them as well. So that when we're playing it, we'll say this is from Prince Sherry and this is this video, and then we'll play that for you, and then you will emphasize on that video. I want us to have a free and fair place here. We're not here to bash people. We're just trying to have some ideas and have a discussion about issues. So I want to thank you for coming on again tonight. But I hope you don't do like what you've been doing. When I say you're coming on the entire time, you don't show. I hope tomorrow you will show. Okay. All right, folks. Thank you, Prince. We appreciate it. Again, we're way beyond time here, so let me just take the 1 or 2 seconds here to get out of here. I'll say thank you very much, and we really, really appreciate all of you guys tonight. The letter, the statement that I read from the ambassador, it is not, as the ambassador stated, it's not just one political party or one government. It's been happening. So the question is, why do we do this to ourselves? Because we're not going to Guinea to borrow a leader from there. We're not going to sell them to borrow anybody to come lead us. The leadership themselves, they are all Liberians. The Constitution will not allow you to be leader or president or any big shot person in Liberia if you're not a Liberian citizen. I want to thank all of you, and please tune in tomorrow. Tomorrow program, we're going to mix it up. We'll make it with role and infrastructure and politics. What the Prince Sherry going to be here tomorrow, and he's going to take on the side of the government, and he will make the case for the government. We're not going to degrade it. We'll let you make the judgment. We will let you judge on that, make a decision on it. If what he's saying, but I warn everyone, he's going to be our guest. He must be respected. And I will be watching here, people writing. If you write something here that is not of a decent wording of anything to describe Prince Sherry, I will block you. I'm saying it right now. So if you know you don't want to hear him, don't come. Because this platform is a platform that allows people to express themselves freely. I don't agree with him on many, many things, but I will hate getting the opportunity to express himself. He's a Liberian. He cares for Liberia just like you. Everything he's saying, he's not there to take Liberia on the ground. He wants to make sure Liberia is moved forward. We don't agree with it. Whatever he's saying, I don't agree with it. But that doesn't mean he's not a human being to make his point. So if you come here tomorrow, if Prince Sherry do show up, which I doubt he will, but if he shows up, I will expect the audience. This is an intellectual platform. I will expect all of us to respect ourselves and respect each other. Good night. Samson to LIBERIA Public Radio.
Diable, le cabas bayo la commence à dire des Américains pas l'eau. C'est Otis Wema, encore une autre fidèle qui. L'Amérique n'a pas l'eau pays. Quand il y a Sylvie, il y a quoi qui. J'ai loupé PRSS. L'Amérique n'a pas l'eau. T'as bien de moi avec moi, nous. En somme, on va bâtir au moins un ou. On t'a dit, t'as mon mouillé. On s'est abattu pour moi, il dit, tu vois, là, le pays. Quand on soit du lot, allez, envoyez, bâtir au lot, et là-haut, Abela Lokeyo, mi vito Jogbai, mi vito Inoba, Martis Mokeyo, Manager Gigi, ouais, peut jamais forcer. Si tu connais, tu connais. L'animateur Choco, Inoska Yassen de Toyebi, l'homme a tout fait pour mi vito, Aniche les vieux.